Coach Prime has now lost out on a potentially big-time recruit who won't be attending the spring game for the University of Colorado. And this is something we got to talk about because if you're a Colorado Buff fan, this is a guy that you definitely did not want to miss out on, and it does not look like he will be there for April 22nd. But before we dive into it, please go ahead and hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you all think down in the comments below. Are you worried that Coach Prime will not be getting a visit from one of the top 5 players in the country? And additionally, if I'm showing up in your feed and you guys aren't subscribed, I'm going to continue to show up there. So help a brother out and just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's just that easy. Okay, so the number 3 overall player in the class, the number 1 edge rusher in the class, currently crystal balled by Steve Wiltfong to end up at LSU, Colin Simmons from Duncanville, Texas, the 6'3", 225-pound edge rusher, announced on his Twitter that he will not be attending the April 22nd spring game for the Colorado Buffaloes. And if you're looking at this from a Buffs fan perspective, I mean, just from any fan of college football, this is a huge loss because the kid is a freak. 147 tackles, 33 tackles for loss, 34 and a half sacks, and three forced fumbles in his 2 years as a starter at Duncanville, which, if you're not familiar with it, Duncanville is one of the best teams in the state of Texas. Also, I think they just won the state championship, if I remember correctly. But his athletic background, he played sub-varsity as a freshman. 2021, he played Texas District 11 6A sophomore MVP. 2022, the Texas District 11 6A co-MVP as a junior. And again, helped lead Duncanville to that 15-0 record, to a state championship. Named the Dallas Morning News Defensive Player of the Year, which his 22 and a half sacks, it broke a Duncanville school record. And he also got the Texas Sports Writer Association 6A Defensive Player of the Year. So when you look at the intangibles of Colin Simmons, he's got it all. And this is a guy that if you're the Colorado Buffs, you really wanted to be able to land because he's a difference maker. And if you get a guy to come and be that for you, woo, it's going to start your class off right. But I know he was going to be taking visits to Arizona State. I think maybe even Arizona. And so that was going to be interesting because, you got Rashad Sample at Arizona State, and he holds really great relationships with recruits all over the state of Texas. Recruits love him. It was such a great hire for Arizona State. Wish Oklahoma would have made that offer. I'm sure Colorado Buff fans wish they could have made that hire, but ultimately it was not one that anybody was really able to make outside of Arizona State. So really, it looks like the 4 teams that are really in this thing, it's Georgia, LSU, Texas, and Texas A&M. Now, LSU's Jamar Cain, I believe, just took a job to the NFL with the Broncos. So it'll be interesting to see if that still holds up as the primary recruitment because Jamar Cain was the primary recruiter at LSU. But Texas and Texas A&M, you would imagine, will certainly be in this race even a little bit more because he's from the state of Texas, and Texas A&M's kind of been throwing some bags around. But if you're the Colorado Buffs, so we've talked so many times about needing to build in the trenches and losing a guy like Colin Simmons. I mean, it doesn't help, but, if you're the Colorado Buffs, I think there's still a lot of great prospects in 2024 that you guys go out there and grab. A must that I think you guys need to grab on the defensive line is a top 50 player in the country, T.A. Cunningham, out of, I believe he's in Los Alamos High School. So that's one you guys need to keep your eye on. That's the defensive lineman that I think you guys really need to go out there and land because I think it's the one you guys have the best shot with. But Colin Simmons, not attending the spring game. Now, I'm not worried because if you look at the list of visitors for Colorado that weekend, even though you take out Colin Simmons, you still got Williams and Deion coming back, a top 10 player. Dylan Stewart, another 5-star edge, a top 30 player in the country. You have Cameron Davis, a 5-star, number 27 overall player. You have Jordan Seaton, a 4-star, number 40 overall player, number 1 interior offensive lineman. You got Stacey Gage, Kylan Fox, Juwan Johnson, who a lot of you guys want to see at that quarterback position. LaMason Waller, Tevis Metcalf, Kylan Fox, DeAndre Robinson, Jordan Johnson, Rubell. Not sure if you guys land that one. I think that one's going to go to Texas. And then Kayan McDonald and plenty of other guys. So if you look at it, Colorado Buffs will be just fine because they got plenty of other visitors. Now, if they start dropping more like flies, then maybe this Carter Nelson thing that came out, which we'll talk about in another day on another video, might be true, saying that Prime can't get the job done on the recruiting trail. But Colorado Buff fans, go ahead, jump down in the comments below. Let me know what y'all think. What do you guys think about Colin Simmons not attending the spring game on April